Let's begin by telling you that the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajaero, has returned to the Labour House after honoring the police invitation. Joe Ajaero arrived at the force headquarters in Abuja on Thursday morning, accompanied by human rights lawyer Femi Falana and other associates. He left the police intelligence response team headquarters at about 11:15 a.m. after giving his statement. Ajaero did not speak to journalists at the IRT, but promised to address the media at the Labour House. His police invitation, reportedly linked to an investigation on alleged terrorism financing, sparked controversy with the NLC and other Labour union accusing the government of trying to intimidate Labour leaders. In solidarity, Labour members had gathered at the NLC headquarters on Thursday before Ajaero's appearance. And to unpack this, we're joined by former National Vice President, Nigeria Labour Congress, and that's Fidelis Edeh. Good afternoon, glad to have you join me.
It's my honor.
Let me kick off by asking, what's your impression of the allegations leveled against Joe Ajaero, which includes terrorism financing, treason, as well as cyber crimes?
Well, I think this is consistent with tradition. You know, the way governments run, not just in Nigeria, but universally. If you look at the history of the trade union is a product of exploitation. Workers coming together to resist the arbitrariness of the employer. So it is not something new. In fact, it is even interesting. I think we've made progress that today there are specific laws through which labor or those in agitation are charged, and there are formal invitation. Before now, if you move back to the military era, Ajaero would have just been picked up and clamped into detention. So for me, it is good that this formal process of inviting not just labor leaders, but those who are protesting to deepen good governance in Nigeria, that the police is also getting civilized.
Well, do you see
the other angle to it?
All right. Go ahead, land on your thoughts.
But the other angle to it is that it also calls for vigilance. You know, the allegation of terrorism, money laundering, and cyber or whatever. It also calls that each time laws are being debated at the National Assembly, that as citizens we must also be vigilant to participate effectively, you know, because the level of awareness this has attracted, maybe there are clauses to these laws that ought not to be there. But it is good that it is happening, because at the end of the day, no matter what the police is currently doing, if they believe they have sufficient evidence or facts, Ajaero will be charged to court, and the court will now be able to pronounce on that law as it affects the fundamental right of Ajaero, not now as NLC president, but as a citizen, in terms of freedom of expression, in terms of freedom to associate, and in terms of civil liberty. So I think we are making progress.
Well, going forward, do you see this call by the police affecting the operations of the NLC in any way?
No, I do not think. You can see it is galvanizing consciousness. You know, one of the things the government don't know, while I still stand for the rule of law, is that one of the things that strengthened us under the military is the arbitrariness, the way labor leaders, and not just labor leaders, those who were involved in the struggle for return to democracy. We then had a platform we called LASCO, labor civil society organization. So you will discover that this more or less will galvanize the trade union, and those who are not identifying will be seen as if they are traitors. So it can only strengthen than dampen consciousness.
Okay, let's backtrack a bit to, the talk about certain procession being made by members of NLC, although we understand that was called off. And the procession was a solidarity for their members to ensure that Joe Ajaero was not held longer in detention. Some have said that move, so to speak, was more like arm twisting the law, and it is a disposition they categorize as acting above the rule of law. What's your reaction to that?
Well, is there anything in the procession that has threatened the rule of law? The trade union, I can tell you, if Ajaero was not the president of NLC, you will not see any procession. You are inviting the president of NLC under under which you have, I don't know the number now, but when we were there, it used to be about 42 industrial unions. And it's like, which organization in Nigeria? Is it even the national chairman of a political party that you will invite, that the political party will not make statements? They will not even go there. The police rather will go to the office to obtain a statement. Where the idea of arm twisting will come in is if they have prevented Ajaero from going to answer to the call. So I do not see anything. This is mobilization. This is show of strength. And this is a way of also civility. In fact, let me tell you, that invitation was unnecessary because the police was the one that called for the procession. I am talking with you now. You are in Abuja, I'm in Enugu. Is there, if it's about interrogation, couldn't they have even spoken to Ajaero on phone? Couldn't they want to see his face to confirm he's the one speaking? Can't they use Zoom? So that once you are now inviting him, you are inviting him because he has a case to answer. So there are modernity, there are things we have to begin to understand. You can see, okay, what is the difference in what you are seeing with Labour and at the initial stage when the Republican candidates in America started appearing before the courts? Was he going to court alone? Even at a point, you recall that the court almost tried to put a kind of ceiling on his statements and all that, buying him from making certain comment. But it didn't quite affect him because civil liberty is so strong in the United States. So the interpretation of arm twisting or bullying does not come in. Where it would have been is if the procession or whatever the mobilization was to stop Ajaero from going to answer the police. So that interpretation, it is what you have, you use. And there is nothing illegal in NLC president being escorted to answer to police invitation. It could have been different if he didn't go. In fact, I think last week I spoke to Ajaero when this invitation came, and he told me that I think he was undergoing an examination, and he told me no, that as soon as he's through, that he will be there. I said, that's what you need to do. When we were there, that was also the same process. It is what you use. Ajaero is a leader of the trade union, but at the end of the day, if the police found him wanting in the allegation, you will discover that the trade union will not stop him from being arraigned in court. That is just the point. But for now, I do not think that there is anything that is untoward or that there are actions. It's just like saying, can somebody now ask, why is police inviting him? I do not think police is carrying out their responsibility in enforcement of law and protection of citizens from arbitrariness or crime. Then the Labour, whose leadership has been invited, cannot pretend that Ajaero is an orphan. Ajaero has a constituency. So if this is show of solidarity, I think that there's nothing wrong about that.
All right, thank you so much for your insights. Just to mention, I'm speaking with you from our Lagos office, but thank you so much for your insight on the news. Fidelis Edeh, former National Vice President, Nigeria Labour Congress. Many thanks indeed. And now to security matters. Nigeria's top military commander has met with Niger's army chief to enhance security cooperation amidst escalating violence from its Sahel jihadist conflict, which has worsened following a series of coups in the region. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, held talks with Niger's Army Chief, General Musa Salah Bamo, in the army on Wednesday, according to a statement released by the Nigerian military on Thursday. Now, both commanders reaffirmed their commitment to resuming and bolstering collaboration to ensure regional stability and security. The statement adds that Niger's Chief of Staff is to visit Nigeria to finalize the cooperation, and an advisory group will be established to improve communication between the two militaries. Relations between Nigeria and Niger have been strained since the 2023 military takeover in Niamey, which led Niger to break away from the regional bloc, ECOWAS. A Nigeria's Minister of State for Police Affairs, Sulaiman-Ibrahim, says that the ongoing reforms in the nation's police force will be extended to its educational institutions across the country. The minister made this known during a tour of police schools in the federal capital in a bid to assess the implementation of the school curriculum, including its holiday program. Now, the visits also monitored efforts put on ground to encourage the study of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. In the meantime, tragedy has struck the Nigeria police force with the death of Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Police, Waheed Ayilara. He passed away early Thursday at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital in Ikeja after undergoing prostate cancer surgery. The family and police sources have confirmed his death. Ayilara was previously unveiled as the acting Commissioner of Police in Lagos in November 2023, while still a Deputy Commissioner of Police. The Nigerian federal government is urging resident doctors to call off their 7-day warning strike. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, made the appeal during a visit to the National Eye Center in Kaduna, where he assured that negotiations are ongoing to secure the release of kidnapped doctor, Dr. Ganiyat Adebola. Alausa said the government and security agencies are working hard to rescue Adebola, who was kidnapped in December 2023. He emphasized that the strike would only worsen the situation and appealed to the doctors to call off the strike and continue to pray for Adebola's safe return. Similarly, members of the National Association of Resident Doctors in Plateau State have restated their claims to not going back to work until the government listens to their demands. Now, the resident doctors across the Federation have been on a 7-day warning strike to press home their demands at the government's inability to improve on the security of their colleagues and indeed those of other citizens. For them, if this trend, which is fast becoming normal, is not tackled urgently, then the systemic decay will continue to degenerate. Our correspondent Chizoba Anyangwe Jones tells us more.
This is the General Outpatient Department, otherwise known as the GOPD. It is available in every standard hospital and serves as a place where primary medical care is rendered to outpatient adults from 18 years and above. It is usually a beehive of activities because of the nature of health services given to patients here. But today, and indeed, since the resident doctors in Nigeria began their 7 days nationwide industrial action, it has become a shadow of itself, where even the doctors' offices are vacant. They say their reason for the industrial action will be achieved before they go back to work.
The major bone of contention now is Ghanaian Popular. We need her back. Until she returns, this strike goes on. They should go after these kidnappers. They should go after these bandits and get her out. That's all we're saying.
Even though compliance for us resident doctors is very high, it has been very good, but we did not completely shut down the health system. No, we just did it to call the attention of the government to know that we cannot continue in this line.
For them, the sooner stakeholders wade into the matter to call government order, the better for every citizen.
So all we're saying is that relevant stakeholders should actually talk to this government. They should talk to them. I think we need to do a lot in terms of security, not just for doctors alone, but I think for everybody. Every Nigerian needs to be protected. And I think the government has all it takes, like I said earlier, to protect everybody maximally.
It's a systemic failure, and the government is not doing as it should. They can step up, they can do more, they can better the standards of living, not just for doctors, for everyone. And if they do that, I'm sure that going forward, things, even those that have left, perhaps maybe in this our lifetime, they might actually consider coming back.
One may say that it is rather unfortunate to believe that in this time and age where two elephants are fighting, the grass has continued to suffer.
It's been almost how many hours? 2 to 3 hours I've been here. The doctors are not coming out.
I'm here since 7:30.
Has any doctor seen you?
No, up till now. We are just pleading to the government. At least they should see the masses, because the masses are suffering here.
Now, as sad as this situation may be, these doctors have said they will not resume work until government fulfills their demands. From the Plateau State Specialist Hospital in Jos, Chizoba Anyowe, reporting for News Central.
You're watching News Central now. After the break, APC chieftain criticizes Obaseki over failed promises. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. A former commissioner of information in Edo State has criticized the Edo State government for failing to fulfill its promises to citizens in the last 7 years. While speaking to newsmen in Benin City, the state capital, he accused the government of being unable to deliver the dividend of democracy to citizens of the state and urged them to vote wisely in the upcoming September governorship polls.
They will be claiming it. You say you promised Benin Industrial Hall, we can't find it. Benin Park, you brought Osibanjo, former vice president, to come and commission, do foundation laying stone. We can't see that place is taken over by forest. What are you saying? And you see some of the people, they will be claiming the credit of what Oshomole did. Dangote Cement, Bua Cement, the steel complex in Bypass, the ceramic tiles company by Bypass that were all built by this thing. And they tell you that, oh, there's an ethanol plant in Edo in Ologbo. Ask them, where is the ethanol plant? Where is the cassava being grown in Edo? They will tell you, Oron local government. Is Oron not too large? What is the village where that cassava is being planted?
The University of Lagos has been disconnected from the power supply by the Eko Electricity Distribution Company due to unpaid electricity bills. The university management says they have been struggling with rising electricity costs, which were made worse by a tariff upgrade that doubled their monthly bills. Despite paying 180 million in August, the university was disconnected without notice. The university management is working to resolve the issue and has announced that power supply will be rationed across the campus until further notice. Information technology experts have called on the government to focus on building resilient and long-lasting IT infrastructure that will boost development in the country. Now, this was as stakeholders convened on the nation's capital in Abuja to discuss Nigeria's digital economy, available opportunities and strategies for youth empowerment. Idong Joseph tells us more.
A gathering of stakeholders in Nigeria's information technology subsector. The gathering is expected to discuss Nigeria's digital economy, its strengths and strategies for youth empowerment, with those present urging governments to improve existing IT infrastructure and increase its investments in the digital sector.
In the fourth industrial revolution, there is no reason why any of our youth should be unemployed because we have millions of vacancies. For instance, in artificial intelligence alone, we have over 6 million vacancies that will not fill as at June 2024, this year, the latest research.
They also urged the government to empower young Nigerians with relevant IT skills and address challenges inhibiting the development of the IT sector.
It is about time that the federal government provide the right skills, the right infrastructure for the nationals, for the country, for the youth, so they can take charge and take part of the ongoing revolution that is happening in what? In the global economy, which digital economy is bringing on board.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission lamented the rate of IT-related crimes perpetrated mostly by youths, revealing that henceforth its new approach to tackling cybercrime will focus on reforming convicted cyber criminals rather than prosecution.
We have thought about using prevention as a tool to address the issue of youth involvement of criminality across the board. Many of you may not be aware, apart from arresting people who are involved in fraudulent activities, within the commission, we take effort to ensure that we also counsel people who are arrested, especially on cybercrime, to see how we can change them.
Information technology experts also call on Nigeria's government to leverage available partnerships to build a world-class IT ecosystem. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The Nigerian Expert Promotion Council says that non-oil exports revenue generated in the first half of 2024 is about 3.834 million metric tons, representing the sum of $2.7 billion. Now, this, according to the NEPC, shows an increase of about 6.2% as against a sum of $2.539 billion for the first half of 2023. News Central's Emmanuel Bagodo tells us more.
Top 15 products exported in
the NEPC presents its progress report on the non-oil export performance for the first half of the year 2024.
In the first half of year 2024 was 3.83 million metric tons, representing a sum of approximately $2.7 billion US dollars. $2.7 billion US dollars. This shows an increase of about 6.26% against the sum of $2.5 billion US dollars for the first half of 2023.
It attributed successes recorded to the policy strides of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Council's initiative tagged Operation Double Your Exports.
This increase in the value of exported products for the period in review can be attributed, but not limited, to the following. The successful transition of government in May 2023 and the policy strides of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Renews Hope agenda, and the strategic achievements of the Council's Operation Double Your Export mantra. In a short, through partnership, advocacy, capacity building, and export intervention programs.
Extractive minerals and agricultural products such as cocoa beans, fertilizer, and sesame top the NEPC's value of exports. The Commission says that it is looking forward to more strides following its new partnerships and capacity development for its workforce. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
In a bid to alleviate the transportation woes plaguing Lagos, the state government has launched the partial operations of the Red Line Rail, a 27-kilometer diesel-powered system that promises to reduce traffic congestions, minimize road accidents, and improve commuter safety. News Central's Igbalani Yomoni provides details.
The Red Line, which spans from Agbado to Ijuishaga, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, Oyingbo, making 8 stations, will initially operate with controlled passenger service inviting organized groups to provide feedback before full commencement. With a capacity of over 150 passengers per trip and 4 trips per working day, the Red Line is expected to make significant impact on the state's transportation landscape.
It has about 42 seats, very comfortable, and can carry a passenger of about 200. There are so many other things that needs to be done and completed on the Red Line before it becomes fully operational. But from what we can see, there is a priority seat area here for persons with disability to actually be able to be more comfortable. And there's a carriage spot here for hand luggage. The luggage must not be more than 10 kg, according to inside information we got. There is a spot here which looks like a charging port, but is not allowed on the train for security concerns. For the passengers who are here, who we can speak to, the experience has been seamless, it has been beautiful, and of course they are looking forward to this operation being fully operational.
The launch comes at a time when fuel scarcity has exacerbated the transportation crisis in Lagos, making the introduction of alternative modes of transport a welcome relief. The government's introduction of CNG vehicles has been slow to gain traction, but the Red Line Rail is expected to be a game changer. According to statistics, the Blue Line Rail, which was launched earlier, has already taken over 10,000 vehicles off the streets, reducing traffic congestion by 20% and passenger dependence on personal vehicles by 15%. The Red Line is expected to build on this success, connecting Ogun State to Lagos and key residential and business areas along the way. Upon full operation, the Red Line will converge with the Blue Line and Yellow Line at the National Theatre, creating a comprehensive transportation network that will revolutionize the way Lagosians travel. With 10 vehicular overpasses and pedestrian bridges constructed to separate train traffic from vehicular and pedestrian flows, the Red Line is designed to ensure smooth operation and safety for commuters. While challenges such as accessibility for persons with disability and manual door operation remain, the government is assured that these issues will be addressed in due course. With the Red Line expected to reduce travel time from Agbado to Oyingbo by 30 minutes, commuters are eagerly anticipating the full commencement of operations in October. As Lagos continues to grapple with transportation challenges, the Red Line Rail offers a beacon of hope for a safer, more efficient, and more reliable transportation system. In Lagos 4 News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
President Bola Tinubu will depart Abuja for Beijing, China on Thursday, August 29th on official visit. The president will have a brief layover in the United Arab Emirates. In China, the president will meet with President Xi Jinping and will hold meetings with Chinese business leaders on the sidelines of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. The president will be accompanied by senior government officials on the trip. About 1,000 residents of the Waru community in the Apo area of the Federal Capital Territory will be beneficiaries of an initiative to offer free eye care services, including surgery. Now, the initiative by a faith-based organization is to provide finance for many who cannot afford the costs of proper eye treatment. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, tells us more.
Blindness and visual impairments have become a public health concern, with their prevalence increasing annually. According to a 2019 World Report on Vision by the World Health Organization, at least 2.2 billion people globally have a vision impairment, of which 1 billion could have been prevented or yet to be addressed. A significant portion of these cases are rural dwellers in Africa, with Nigeria not being excluded.
Already, I can't see. It's covered like smoke. Yeah.
I undertake treatment at Bauchi, but when the eye effect was serious, I decided to go back to my home.
Many of these have continued to live with their impairments because they cannot pay for proper eye care services. In a bid to ease this burden by providing free eye care surgery for those with serious eye impairments, about 10,000 people are set to access free eye care in the nation's capital, Abuja.
We're going to ensure that the surgery is performed, they are able to see, we're
We're going to ensure the ones that need glasses are given, and we're going to ensure that there's a follow-up for after the medication, their livelihood is sustained.
Not only are we having the free surgeries in this adopted primary health center, we had to renovate. We had to, they didn't have good water supply, so we had to ensure the borehole was provided for.
Some of the beneficiaries here expressed optimism about regaining their sight after the treatment.
Based on the professionals handling it, I believe it's going to solve my problem.
I trust God that after this treatment, everything will be over for me in Jesus' name.
God has sent me here. God has said, Christ will kill me. God will help us. I will be healed in Jesus' name.
With the current economic situation, which is forcing many with vision impairment to choose cheap treatments, this initiative will help restore hope in many lives. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonko Joseph.
And that's all on the news. Let's take a look again at some of the major headlines. NLC President Joe Ajaero has returned to Labour House after honoring police invitation. Ballistics experts have tussled over bullets found at crime scene of Senzo Mayiwa's murder. We also told you that rights group has accused warring parties of war crimes. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Adebola Adedugba.